All right, welcome everyone. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer Beale today as our special guest. So Jennifer is an award-winning networker and award-winning in the networking space, and she's known by her clients as the Queen of Connecting. Her connection strategies have helped hundreds of business owners earn hundreds of millions of dollars. So today's session, love the title, Get Your Edge, the Art of Collaborative Networking. So Jennifer asks the question, what if building a network became your most powerful asset? Great question, very provocative, very intriguing for today. Great stuff. And with that, over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for welcoming me, Dave. And for those of you who are not part of the TAB community, a special thank you to you, Dave, and your team for inviting me to come in and speak to the TAB community. And those of you who are joining here, TAB is it's an international organization with chapters everywhere, and they have peer advisory groups that support people. So it's very much a networking organization. And I'm so delighted to be here. So thank you for the warm welcome. I want to ask you all of this. You have these big dreams, these big plans, these big goals. If I could show you a way where you could achieve them 3 times faster, would you be in? If you could achieve those goals you just listed, or the ones that you were thinking about, the ones that you've got going on right now that you're most excited about, if I could show you a way to get them 3 times faster, would you be in? So I'm getting some yeses, which is great. I know it's a tough marketplace out there right now. I'm part of it. I'm experiencing it all myself. And I also know it's very confusing. We don't know necessarily where we're going next. There's a lack of certainty out in the marketplace, and business people like certainty so we can make plans and we can implement them. And I would say that right now is a time where we need each other more than ever. More than ever, we need to be coming together to support each other during these times because no one has all the answers. But together, collectively, we can find our way. And I can see that you have some big plans and you have some big goals right now. I want to tell you that nothing is going to propel you further to achieving those goals than you building a network of amazing people around you who want to see you win as much as you want to see them win. It's collaborative networking. And I know
¿Qué onda?
networking matters.
No sé, un
Networking,
pochín de agua, porfa.
networking matters, but collaborative networking matters
This set
more.
to 84. By another speaker, there's no other speaker. So
Hildegan.
So nothing is going to propel you further faster than having a great group of people around you who want to see you win as much as you want to see them win. And I know this whole collaborative networking thing works because if you knew me 24 years ago, you would know I was awkwardly shy. I did not like networking at all. The thought of walking in a room with strangers frightened me. I had a very short-lived strategy where I didn't need to network. But then the day came when I needed to build a bigger network. And it was around that time I met a gentleman by the name of Brian Clemmer. He was a leadership trainer and I took his programs. And what he taught me was that networking was just simply about being authentic. And so once I learned that and I just started being myself out there with people, I was off to the races. And he was my mentor first and taught me a lot of things about networking. And smart me, I asked him if we could collaborate. And smart him, he said yes, because I helped him make between $1 million and $2 million through a collaboration. And so then that boosted me as a rookie. My confidence was off the charts. And I started going around talking to all kinds of people, can I help you with this and that and collaborating, even with the likes of Brian Tracy, one of the world's renowned speakers. And so I also made some mistakes along the way, I'll admit it. And I'm here today to share with you what I found worked and what I found that doesn't work as well. So I know collaborative networking can work for you and it can help you achieve these goals 3 times faster. When I'm out there speaking with business leaders, I often hear that there are 3 things that commonly come up that get in the way of networking effectively. Number 1 is it can feel very awkward, right? It can feel very awkward and self-serving, and you can feel kind of phony, and you know, and that doesn't feel good. I also hear from people that it takes a lot of time and they're not getting the results they think from the amount of time that they're investing in the relationships, building relationships and networking. And the other thing is maybe you're starting off in a new project, or maybe you're just starting off in your career and you need a new network, or you need a network of some sorts because you just don't have the people right now. And the challenge becomes, how do you do this and where do you find the people? And so here's what's going on. Networking right now has become more confusing and complex recently because of social media. A recent study found 38% of leaders are saying that they are struggling to stay in touch with people on LinkedIn. And they're also finding a lot of people aren't finding the time to do it. A study found 49% of people who want to network are not making or finding the time to be able to do that. And that's not just because social media takes a lot of time and can be complex, but it's also because of other demands that are in our lives. But here's what's really going on. The business leaders that I have seen who make it with networking and it turns into being hugely successful for them, they have a networking strategy. So what I'd like to do with you first is I'd like to unpack what's going on with all of this, and then open it up for a conversation with you about networking, your experiences and what you have found has worked and hasn't worked, and answer any of the questions that you have about how you can build a more collaborative type of network so that you can achieve more faster in a short amount of time. First, let's take a look at the types of people you're going to meet out there. There are three types of networkers. Number one are the people who love to go out and meet people. They have zero strategy. They just really enjoy meeting people. We often call them social butterflies. And by the way, they're perfectly okay that they don't have a strategy. They just like to meet people. The second type are like me 24 years ago, where there's some social angst that comes up when it comes to networking. Things that would go through my mind would be like, what do I say? Or, you know, what if I make a bad first impression? Or what if there's this awkward gap in the conversation? How am I going to fill that in? And the problem with having this social angst around networking is that if something's uncomfortable, we tend not to do it, like I didn't. And that's really a shame from my perspective, because then the promises of networking will never be fulfilled if we're not out there doing it. And then finally, there are people like me today, and we just enjoy networking. We see it as a skill, a capability. And wherever we are, it's just good enough because we can always get better and better as we go along. And so if you think of it, it's kind of like a networking adventure. You know, think of it like a networking adventure up a ladder. And the ladder would have, say, two parts to it. On the bottom part of it, we would say people are not building relationships, so they would be disengaged. And on the top part of our ladder, we would see that people are engaged. So it would look something like this, right? Two parts. Lower part, disengaged, not building relationships. Upper part, we're engaged and we are building relationships with people. And what I found is down on the lowest rung is what you would find what I call soloists. And soloists are people that typically are doing things alone. They're doing almost everything alone in their business. And you may have gotten here because of your success, because they say it's lonely at the top. You also may be here if you're just starting out. And you may be here just because of the activities that you're doing and the amount of work you need to do. You just don't have time to be out there building relationships. And if you look on the other end of all of this, up and engaged in the red section, you would look at what we call super connectors. And super connectors are those people that are out there with diverse networks and they see the gaps. You know, and Ronald Burt, who is a networking scientist, he calls these gaps gold. This is where there is a lot of opportunity, and the super connectors, they actually find it. And what you see with the soloists is that they're struggling, they're doing everything themselves and it's too much, and they're not getting referrals and opportunities because the relationships are not being built. But when you look at the super connectors, because they are seeking opportunities, seeing opportunities and bridging opportunities, they are in the spotlight and they get lots of referrals and lots of opportunities. So go back down to disengaged into that dark blue section. And what we see there is what I would call a networker. And networkers like to build a network for their own gain. Their motto would be something like, my network is my net worth. They see people as a means to the end. And so it's very transactional in what they're doing. And it's also very tiring because you're constantly on this need to find more and more and more business. So typically using networking just to acquire clients. And then if you were to look up in the just below Super Connector, you would see what I call Community Builder. And this is where your opportunities really expand because you are attracting people to you. So you're not out networking just for your own gain. You're networking to actually work together with other people and make a difference. And you'll get a lot of referrals and opportunities. These people, they're like ambassadors. They come and they join you. An example of a community would be TAB. TAB is an organization where they form groups between, I don't know, around 8-10 people, Dave, I think, in a group. Everybody has exclusivity, and they have a community builder lead it, facilitate the groups. And everybody is there to help everybody else work for it. And so you can see there's a big difference when you're disengaged and when you're engaged. The piece I really want to come in here, though, is what do you need to do to get yourself out of disengaged into engaged in a really powerful way where you position yourself so that you can get these referrals and opportunities. And where networking is a grind, if you keep at this whole networking and working at it and developing the skill and the capability, a big shift happens one day. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a realization that networking is not about serving oneself. It's about serving other people. And this is where you would become what I call a connector, other people call a connector, where a networker is working for themselves and building up contacts and maybe a big list of contacts. A connector is actually looking at their contacts saying, who else is a connector and what can we do together? And this is where things start to really take off for you. You'll start to get more referrals and new opportunities because you're serving and building relationships with others. And if you keep at it and you keep at it, you will then get to what I call a collaborator. And this is where you take your connections as a connector and you start doing things with them and collaborating with them. And you're building strategic partnerships. And here's what happens when you do this. You can tell people on your LinkedIn profile how great you are, on your website, the testimonials. All of that is really important and really helpful. But when you actually work in collaboration with other people and they get to experience with you firsthand what it's like to do things with you, then all of a sudden people recognize how great you really are. For example, Ellen Rogan's on this call here and we have collaborated together. I knew Ellen was great because she's a New York best-selling author. But it wasn't until we did something together where I actually saw her character, the values that she carries, how she goes about doing things. And I also paid attention to how she invested in our relationship and the support she gave for me. I realized she's absolutely amazing person. And she's like, you get the validation. I really validated who she was and what she did. And you can't get that without doing things with people.
Yeah, okay.
So let me ask you this. Where do you see yourself on this ladder? Where do you see yourself right now? Would you say, oh my goodness, I'm a connector, but I'm spending so much time alone. I'm really more in being a soloist these days, are you a networker where you're out there and you're going, well, it's a great way to prospect and get clients. And I get some, and it does work, by the way. Or maybe you say, hey, I'm a connector and I'm out there serving people. Where do you see each other? You can pop that into the chat. Where do you see yourself right now in all of this? Okay, so we've got Stephen saying soloist. Okay. Stephen, are you able to unmute yourself? Do you want to share a little bit about that? What's going on for you? If you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'm fairly new to this. So as you said, I've been successful doing what I do on a solo basis, but I'm recognizing the limitations of that, and I recognize the value of a network, but not entirely sure how to build that out.
Yeah, I'll get to that in just a moment, how to build it out. Where would you like to see yourself on this?
I guess a collaborator.
You like to be doing collaborations. I think that's one of the biggest promises of networking. You can collaborate, you can share resources. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks. Let's see, Leanne, collaborator. Leanne, are you comfortable reading?
I am. So I network a lot on LinkedIn. I reach out to people. I have people reaching out to me for follow-up and connections and projects they're working on. I find that I know who to go to in the event I need insight or opportunity or a guest speaker for something. I know who to go to and reach out, and I feel like I can connect that. I am somewhat of a community builder, but only my little community. I wouldn't say I do that across a bigger scope. And so for work, that might be a goal for me to move up to that and to continue. But I feel like my network knows to reach out to me for jobs, for content, for just networking on if they have a question about, I'm in human resources. So they reach out a lot for HR and other things as well.
That's brilliant. That's really great. One of the things I'll say about actually community builders, it can be very formal, like something in Tab where you're very intentional about building a group. If you keep serving people, what ends up happening is people just want to be around you. And so you don't even really have to try at it to start getting this group of people around you, and they become ambassadors, and they recommend you, like they're in the room when you're not even there, and they're saying great things on behalf of you all the time. So good job, way to go on all of that. And wherever you happen to be or wherever you're seeing yourself right now, and thanks everybody for sharing all of this, there's, mix, we've got connectors, we've got community builders, networkers. Once you actually become engaged, as long as you're engaged, you're above the line. And I think if you can take from that, that's the most important thing here, is that you want to notice when you're spending too much time alone, or if you're just out there feeling like you're trying to convince people to do business with you, that you may be on the disengaged side. And what you want to do is you want to just flip it by serving other people and become more engaged. And I have found that this is true 100% of the time. This works all the time when you serve people. Except I will point out one thing for connectors. When you first start connecting with people and you're serving people, sometimes you feel a little jaded because you're doing all the giving and people are not reciprocating. And if any of you can relate to all of that, let me just give you a tip right now. What you're probably doing is you are serving people who are networkers or soloists. And if you shift it to serving connectors, collaborators, community builders, and super connectors, you will start seeing the reciprocity start happening in it, which I think is very, very important part in all of this, is that there is reciprocity in the relationships that we have. So this middle section is really important. And when I share with you some of the, by the way, if you have any questions, just pop them into the chat. I'm keeping my eye on that. Sorry if is everybody not seeing this image clearly?
It comes in and out, just
It's
like
coming in and out, is it?
with the
Okay,
video. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's a little
Oh,
fuzzy.
sorry, I'm not sure why that's happening. It's showing up just clear here. So sorry about that if it's causing problems for any of you over there. Maria. Maria, by the way, is an amazing connector, collaborator. She's a community builder. She leads a Tab group. I would even call her a super connector. She's connected to a lot of diverse people. I'm here today because of her. She was the one that recommended that I come to Tab and share here. So, the power of our networks and the power of the relationships we have and the way it works, this is proof of it right here. Thank you so much, Maria, for making the connection to Dave. So examples of how to better serve others. Well, let me go into something else right now with you and show you the how, and I'll get into some examples that you can actually do on how you can serve people, how you can get this going. I think what you need to do is you need to do three things. Number one is you've got to get the people right. Okay, so I've just shown you, if you're playing with people who are disengaged and not wanting to build relationships, it's a hard go and not much is going to happen from it. Play with people who are engaged and above, connectors, collaborators, community builders, and those super connectors. If you play with them, more is going to happen for you. You've got to select the right people. When it comes to these people, these core connections that you need, Dunbar, the anthropologist, says we need 150 or we can manage 150 relationships. That all has to do with the cognitive power of your brain. Technology does not make it where you can have more than 150 meaningful relationships or relationships with people. But what he says in between or within that 150 is there are going to be 5 very close people to you. We call it an inner circle sometimes. And then there are maybe 15 people that are close associates. So if you look at that, you're looking between 5 and 20 people here. Okay, when it comes to networking for collaborations, we are not looking at 150 or 1,500 or 15,000 people that we're trying to manage relationships. Whatever that goal is that you have, you're going to be looking to find 5 to 20 people, or 5 to 15 people, so up to 20 people that can help you move the needle on it, who could help you right now. And so that's who you're going to look and start building the relationships with. And that number is very doable, right? It's manageable. 5 people, up to 20 people. You can do this. Anybody can do this. It's when it gets unwieldy that it's really, really hard. And so the second part that you need is you've got the people, then you're going to need a connection strategy. You're going to need something, you got to be the glue that keeps it together. You've got to be reaching out to people consistently. So some of the things that you can be doing here in answer to Charmaine's question about example of how to better serve people. I was speaking last week at an event and somebody mentioned, asked the same question and said the community builder of the group had given them an hour and a half to help them with their speaking business. And they were like, what can I do back? And very simply, if somebody has given to you, you acknowledge it and you thank them, keep them posted in how that's built your life. The second thing is go back and find out what do they want and help them get that. So once you know what people want and you help them get that, you will build strong relationships with them. It's just a given. That's how people reciprocate with all of it. So some examples could be somebody wants more speaking gigs, as was the case of this. Well, maybe you're speaking somewhere and you talk to the meeting organizer and you say, are you looking for more speakers? I can recommend one. Dave and I were doing this a little bit before all of you gathered with us here today. And Dave was telling me they're launching a podcast. How exciting is that? And then I said, you know, I have an associate who has a very successful podcast. Maybe the CEO of Tab would like to be on that podcast. And now Dave and I are going to see if we can work this out. It's like this. Listen to what people are saying and whatever they want, start fulfilling it. You know, Charmaine, is that helping you with some ideas of how to better serve people? This is not liking and sharing their LinkedIn posts. That's all I can say. You know, this has got to be high value. You've got to be giving things that put you on the map and people notice, high value. Help people make money. Give them a referral. Help one of their family members. You know, you want to get in good with somebody, help one of their family members. There is an infinite number of ways that you can serve other people in meaningful ways. The key is know what they want and make sure that they find it meaningful what you want to do. And also make sure that they're playing above the line and want to be engaged. And when you do this, Charmaine, you're actually sending out a signal to the people, I want a better relationship with you. I want to build a relationship with you. Let me give you this. Okay, so the connection strategy, you're going to put in time. You got to invest some time with some people because you want to build trust. Trust is the key here. That's the game changer, is that people trust you. They know you, they like you, but they trust you. And so you add value in as many ways as you possibly can. And you do it consistently. You've got to do it at a frequency that the other person wants. So you've got to figure out what that is. And you start building the relationship by doing that. I can see there's a lot of questions, so I don't want to go too far without answering some of them. What do you tell young people to say they have nothing reciprocal to offer back to connectors? This is a great question. Thanks, Cindy. Okay, the old networking model. Yeah, you feel like you don't have anything to contribute, right? The old networking model was based on transactions. It was exhausting, right? It's exhausting doing all of this stuff and not getting immediate results for all of it. Very time consuming. And it was also a win-lose game. But we have a new model of networking, right? And collaborative networking is a game changer for you. Because instead of going out there and doing transactions, what you're doing now is you're going out and you're adding value, you're contributing. So I would say to a young person, show up where you want to be. You don't have to wait for access or an invitation in, and start contributing. Look around what's going on and how can you add something? Because I know this, everybody on this planet has some kind of social capital, has some kind of capital, whether it's social or economic or skills, where every person on this planet has something they can contribute into a group of people. And so I would say to a young person, go in there, you do have something to contribute, and go in there and start building it. You can, if you're serving up, then you go in there and you give a fair amount, and you're giving to people who want to engage. You're not going to be used in all of this. It's going to be reciprocal. And if somebody is young and just starting out, see how they can serve people who are on the rise under them as well. So you can network down, you can network up. Either way will work for you, and don't dismiss networking down. It can work tremendously for you. How do you identify the collaborators and community builders and super connectors while networking? Great question. What are some of your thoughts on that? For those of you who are collaborators, what are some of the qualities you're looking for in people? You want to post that in the chat? What are some of the qualities? I would say generosity, right? Generosity is number one. Curiosity would be other ones. Maria saying positive outlook. You're looking for a positive outlook. Interest, generosity. Good one, Alan. They don't just talk about themselves. They ask how they can help. And if you want to know if you're in the room with a connector, if you're speaking with a connector, this is what they do all the time. They go, hi, who are you? Tell me a little bit about you. And as soon as they know something, they go, oh, do you know so-and-so? Or, oh, I should be introducing you to so-and-so. That's a connector. They're always building triangles, always. They can't help themselves. They're very compulsive about it. They just can't help themselves. And when you start making this a life habit, that's how you start being with people. You want to see it. So yeah, they don't just talk about themselves. They ask how they can help you, and they want to know who you are. Naveen, yeah, listening skills, team player. It's an equal relationship. Yeah. So you can see in here the importance of connection strategy and investing time. Just want to go back up to Peter. You need to invest time. It takes about 5 months actually to get to know people, I find, typically. But if you have a connection strategy where you're very intentional about building the relationships, you'll get the time with people. They will make time to be with you. When you're sending out that signal, I want to build a better relationship with you. Did that help? Peter, if you have additional questions, just ask. How do you identify engaged people in your network? You actually will feel it. When you're a connector, if you remember back on, was it here? I'm empowered. When you're with people in the conversation, what ends up happening is you start feeling empowered. And the reason you start feeling empowered when you're with another connector, people who are engaging with you, is because you're getting a hit of dopamine. It's perfectly normal and healthy in a healthy relationship to get a hit of dopamine. And dopamine makes you feel more energized. And when you're more energized, guess what? You're more productive. And then you can start being more productive with other people. So pay attention to how you feel with people. How do you feel? One of the questions I run through my mind is this: do I like who I am when I'm with this person? Do I like the words that come out of my mouth and how I'm speaking? Or do I feel like I need to defend myself? Or it's just something not feeling quite right. And so you pay attention. Do you get the connection? And the sign of a healthy connection is that there will be mutual empathy, which leads to mutual empowerment. And in mutual empowerment, there will be mutual benefit. So those three things, they kind of go together. Great question. Okay. Any other questions? I just want to make sure I'm getting everybody here. Genuine, yeah. Hey, David, nice to see you. People are your energizer, and you're an energizer too, Hilda. That's great. So, so you got the people, you got the connection strategy, and then the third part of all of this is you're going to need to have a system. So you end up, you have these core connections and people. You need a connection strategy, and you need a connection system, and the system it gets it so it's all organized for you, and you can save the time. There's too much stuff going on with lists. There's social media. We have our own CRM. We have email contact lists. Like people are all over the place with us and everything. And what you want to do is you want to bring this into a connection system. And remember, we're looking at, we're looking at 5 to 20 people. We're not looking at huge numbers of people here to be able to do all of this, but you're going to need a system in there. And a system is simply people, processes, and technology. And you bring those together into a system so that you will do this, so you can do this consistently over and over again. And you will notice that, that the people start responding to you and you start doing more with them. You'll see them get ignited and you'll see a high response rate. I'll give you an example. This week or last week, I reached out to Larry Benet. I don't know if you know Larry Benet, but he's ranked as one of the top 10 connectors in the US by Inc. and Forbes magazines. And he's also one of my associates. During the pandemic up here in Canada, we had a $40 million deal on the table, a group of us, and we couldn't find a supplier. So I reached out to Larry. And sure enough, Larry's a super connector, and Larry had a connection for working on that deal. So last week, I hadn't talked to Larry in a while. And I just texted him and said, hey, how are you doing? What are you working on these days? Another great connection strategy, just reach out and say, what are you working on? What are you most excited about? Use the question I gave you right at the beginning. What's your most exciting project you're working on right now? Can I help you somehow? That's a great way to connect. And so I reached out to Larry last week and he responded within half an hour. He's traveling right now. He's in Bali and he sent me a picture of him on the beach, right? I could see the sun rising and stuff. And, you get these relationships with people and it's just incredible to actually have all of it. Now, you may be looking at this and going, okay, yeah, I get it. People and the strategy and the system, I've heard that all before. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to make some distinctions here for you and really help you see this. So this is really land so that you can walk away from here and you can actually do something with this. Really do something meaningful with this. And so the first distinction would be between the people and the connection strategy. Why you're doing this, what you really want to be doing is you want to be building relationships. So rather than worry about core connection strategy, just think, I want to be building relationships with people who are going to be profitable, where it's going to be profitable if we do things together. And then the second distinction that you could make between core connections and your connection system, that's really to get organized. You've got all of these people, they could be all over disparate lists here, there, everywhere, but you're going to bring it together into your system. You're going to get it organized so you can find these people and you can track with these people and pay attention to these people. And that's going to make building the relationships a whole lot better. And the third distinction that I would like to make on this is between the connection strategy and the connection system. Why this is important is because it keeps you top of mind. You're going to be remembered. The number one reason why people don't send you referrals is because they forget. They forget you. And the number one reason they forget you is because you forgot them. So you want to be memorable. You want to be visible. You want to be top of mind. I love Gary Keller. Gary Keller says, treat your referral partners better than your referrals. He talks about, he's in real estate, right? He's an incredible entrepreneur, just incredible. But he has the number 2 real estate agency or company in the world, Keller Williams. So what he says is your brain is like real estate, right? There's real estate. We'll do a little experiment here. I want you to think of a real estate agent. Did everybody think of one? You just give me a little nod if you got one. Okay. How many of you thought of more than one? How many of you thought of 2? You thought of one, but then you thought of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Okay, why did the first one come up number 1? What was it about that one that came to, why is that one top of mind? And what Gary would say is that one has the real estate in your mind. That one, that's how you want to be with other people. You want to be in their minds, number 1, when they have somebody. So you want to be remembered. And so if you focus more on here, these distinctions, build relationships, get organized, and be remembered, you'll be fine. This is how you do it. If you go ahead and you do all of this, it'll all start working for you. So networking. This is how you want to get yourself organized, get yourself where you actually have this collaborative networking program going on and being very intentional about investing in other people. And that will be a game changer for you. It will change everything for you. Do it with the right people and you need like 20 people. That's all you really need here. The people that you choose are going to make or break it. You know, I often meet with people and they do collaborations with people and they don't make any money from it. It's not profitable. Well, that's not going to go very far, right? You know, and these three scenarios kind of come up with people when you try and do this. Number one is you agree, you know, you're going to collaborate or you're going to exchange referrals, and then nothing happens, right? We've all had that, right? It was a good idea. I mean, look, if I ask any of you if you want to be a referral partner, I think you'd all say yes. Who doesn't want referrals, right? We all want referrals, but it doesn't always pan out where referrals are exchanged. The second scenario that you can see is that you agree to exchange referrals or collaborate with one another, and you give them some referrals and they don't reciprocate. And that's not going to go very far either. That's going to fizzle out. And the third scenario that I often see is that you agree to exchange referrals and collaborate together, and then you do it for a little bit, and then that fizzles out. And you go, why did it stop? Why did it stop? It was so good. And take it back to build relationships, get yourself organized, and be remembered. And if you keep doing this with people again and again and again, it won't fizzle out for you. Do this consistently. How much time? People often ask for time. Well, Thomas Corley of Rich Habits is a great book, by the way. He has a podcast, and Tom Corley says 5 hours. He researched wealthy people, and he said they network on average 5 hours per month. So you want to be doing this, some kind of connection program that you have with people, implementing your connection strategy 5 hours or more every single month with the right people. In fact, just always be connecting. ABC, always be connecting. Make this a lifetime habit. You just do it all the time. Seriously, I got a client once in an elevator. I got a client in an elevator and I didn't even talk about myself. I just was curious. We were in the lobby. I was talking with her. We got on the elevator. We had a nice connection going. And just before I got off, she said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I help leaders build, strategic partnerships for business growth." She goes, "I need you. Here's my card. Contact me." Off I got. And 2 weeks later, she was a client. So I know this works with people when you're highly engaged with them and you're always connecting and you're making this a habit. You can do it anywhere, anytime, with anyone. And another one of my clients right now, Vicky, used her connection strategy with somebody, and she wasn't trying to get business or anything. She was just connecting in a high value way. And that landed her a $14,000 deal, which she is actually doing delivery on right now this week. So this works when you take time to serve other people and keep them top of mind and invest in their well-being. And so I want to give you a fact. Here's a fact for you, right? Why you want to do this. It's high value. When you start contributing to other people, it's high value. But I want to show you this. 91%. 91% of B2B buyers start the buying process with a referral. They are not Google searching for you. They are asking people they already trust who could be a trusted advisor for us, or a trusted service provider, or a product that we need. And referrals close 3 to 5 times better than if you get leads from any other channel. They do. Referrals, like, they are the best. So if you invest in other people, they are going to invest in you. It's powerful. David was one of my clients, and he came to me, for example, he came to me and he had this really good lead generation process going, and clients, took 6 to 9 months to close. They would come in $10,000, $20,000, and ultimately he'd build them up to being a $100,000 client per year. And it was long term. He wanted to make it shorter. He didn't want to wait 6 to 9 months, and he wanted bigger deals coming in right out the gate. So I helped him develop a referral partner program. David gets a referral worth $135,000, and it closes in 14 days from the introduction. That's big change in a very short amount of time. Big change, short amount of time. And if you're looking for that, collaborative networking is where it's at. And one of the simplest collaborations you can do with people is a referral partnership. That would be one of the simplest ways that you can do that. So how's this landing for you? Are you open to being more collaborative in with your network, with taking those contacts and turning them into connections? Yeah. This has been helpful. Great. What has anything been left unsaid for you? Is there any questions that are mulling around in your mind right now? You're going, how did I do this? Okay, for any of you who want to dive a little bit deeper, I have a gift for you. I just released a collaborative networking guide, and I'm going to give you access to that if you would like. So I'll pop that in the chat for you right now. There is no charge for this. And what it has in there is it has other ideas for you about what you can do so that you can be more of a collaborative networker. That there. Got Dave, you got your hand up.
Yeah, so with the collaborative referral relationship, one reluctance I've heard from some, I mean, not a lot, but a little bit is, the whole concept when you refer someone, say to one of your clients, like in our case to one of our members,
Mhm.
um, what if they don't do a great job or whatever, and you're worried about that. So what's your experience in trying to somebody that's a new person that you haven't worked with for the first time, making that referral? How do you kind of get comfortable with that?
Yeah, so trust is the key in all of this. Now, your reputation is on the line. You're absolutely right. And if you refer somebody to somebody who trusts you already and it doesn't go well, it will be a reflection on you. It's one of the reasons people ask for referrals and want like to be referred to good suppliers is so that they can eliminate that, I don't know if I can trust this person or whether are they going to deliver? So one, I would say don't refer anybody you don't trust. Okay, go out and find people that you feel confident about making the referral for. That's number one. The second way that I will do this is I will tell somebody, I don't know this person well. I just know that they do this. Do your own due diligence with it. And I'm honest about it and I let them know where the state of the relationship is at. And that either way, that would cover yourself a little bit more in making a recommendation for somebody else. If you go back to thinking about like the strategic partnerships you're forming, one of the ways you actually really get to know well how good somebody is by collaborating with them. You'll see, do they, deliver on time? Do they do what they say they're going to do? You'll see everything about their character. You'll see the quality of the work that they do. And that's a really good indicator too. And just keep in mind, it does take time to meet people and get to know them and to be able to trust them. Does that help? And if anybody has any other ideas, you're welcome to just pop them in the chat. That would be great. What do you do when somebody asks for referral and you don't quite know if this person's going to deliver? And I think there is reluctance, and I think that's healthy to have a bit of reluctance. This is a different way of doing business, and our reputation really matters. Okay. If you're looking for a group that you can connect with, I'm going to highly recommend that you look at this group if you don't already belong to it, TAB, the Alternative Board. They have chapters throughout the world. And these groups, they meet in person and they meet in your region where you are locally. And what you would get is you would get people there that are serious about business like you are. They're investing their time in doing it. There's a vetting process for them to even belong to the organization. So Dave and his team, they help make sure that the right people are coming into the group. I think more than anything, though, is that when you're meeting with people consistently in a group like that, and you're being a little bit more vulnerable and sharing some of the challenges you have, and people are giving you really useful, valuable feedback and ideas back, the trust starts to build from there. And automatically in those relationships where you're helping each other, because the whole format of TAB does that, that is where you're really going to start building these strong relationships of trust where you can do more with other people. So consider that if you're not already part of this group. Dave, is there I don't know, just go to the website, or, Dave's here, just message him right now, say, Dave, connect with me, or, but find one, see if there's a group, and I believe you're allowed to go and visit a group before you make the full decision as well. You can go and you can meet a group and see if it's something for you. I believe very, very much so that you need to belong. You need to belong somewhere. This is a world that's fast changing right now. You're going to need to have people around you to keep you up, keep you strong, keep you going in that. So find groups that you can, and certainly consider TAB if TAB is there. And if you would like to connect with me, let me show you. There's a couple of ways that you can connect with me. One is we could connect on LinkedIn if you'd like to connect with me. I do some connection strategies. I have a few of them every month that I offer. If any of you are interested in actually meeting with me and coming up with your own collaborative networking plan, I would be willing to give you some time to be able to do that. And so you just email me at connections@jenniferbeale.com. Or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's another great way for us to stay connected ongoing. And so going back up, Sam, you got a great question here. How long do you typically give a relationship before deciding there's no value in it? Well, yeah, I like to look at it this way. Give people a little bit and see how they do with that. And if they do really good with a little bit, then give them a little bit more and build a relationship over time rather than doing everything together. So how long would it take? Well, if you're approaching somebody and you're adding value into their life and they're not responding, then go find somebody who does respond. I wouldn't spend a lot of time there. Once you have the people selected, you're going to meet with them and have a conversation with them about what you want to do with them. And you're going to meet frequently with them, right? You're going to share your goals, and you're going to support one another and encourage one another and help each other strategize. You'll be in touch with them. So you actually get to see, you want to see some fruits from this. You definitely want to see some fruits from all of this, because we're not looking for a lot of people. You're looking for 20 people that are willing to support you in a project you're working on, and you're willing to support them back. And you have agreement on that, and so you actually do it. So this works. And so I want to thank you for all your great questions. This was fantastic. And I want to thank you for being here today and showing up here today to learn more about collaborative networking, which is the way we're headed right now when it comes to networking, doing more of this. You don't need a lot of, you don't have to wait in line. You can get access immediately to all of this. And I shared a lot of ideas, and maybe or maybe not you believe that this is for you, but if you do believe that it is for you, we all know that just thinking about something doesn't always make it work for us. And so the second part is you're going to need some focus. You're going to need some focus on this, because there are so many ways that you can actually go about growing your business. And so you can do anything you want, you just can't do everything. And so you would need to focus on this and give it some commitment. It's going to take some time to find the right people and set up a strategy and set up a system. But once you have it going, this connection strategy takes about 5-10 minutes a day, maybe 15 minutes a week. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's really, really powerful when it comes back in. And take action.
This is awesome, Jennifer. Just can I ask another question that might be on some people's minds? And you've gone through this journey, right? You've walked the talk.
Mhm.
What about, there's a perception that you have to be like a very outgoing people type person to be successful in this space. What would your response be to that?
Yeah, this whole thing about extroversion, introversion, is a myth. I think that we're all social inside of us. It's really about energy. And I'm an introvert. I like a lot of solitude. I need a lot of solitude, but I also start feeling inside pangs of loneliness. And that's my signal. Oh, time to go be with people, time to go be with people. Whereas I have friends, they just want to be with people all the time. So it's really a matter of adjust to the amount of social you need. And when it comes to this, what I love about it is that it's 20 people. It's not 200 people that I need to consistently be with. It's 20 people, and I don't have to be with all of them at the same time. And a lot of it's done one-on-one in Zoom or a meeting for a meal. Like Maria and I, we meet for a meal and we go out and we do things because we're close. But you can also do this with anybody anywhere. So I would say this is not a thing for extroverts or introverts. This is for all people. This is not something old, and this is not really something new. This is actually ancient. We evolved as human beings because of our social nature. And so much of what's out there with technology and being self-sufficient and independent and all that stuff that goes on in our society is actually removing us from being who we really are. And so whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, you need people. And so you decide how many people, which people, when with people, and you can you will feel empowered. You actually will have a boost when you're with the right people. That's the sign that you've got great people around you. You are feeling empowered. My friend Mitch McGuire, we were working on a project together, and I get tired at the end of the day because I get up at 5 in the morning. She would call me like at 8 o'clock in the evening, and I'd always take her call. By 8:30, I'd be on fire and I could work till midnight. That's the sign. That's a sign. These are good people. You're feeling empowered and productive and you want to do stuff. They raise you up. So if you're feeling a little blah, go find some great people to hang out with.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. So I recommend a number of different books. One would be Four Ways to Click by Dr. Amy Banks. That's all about your brain, the neuroscience of relationship and connection. But the book I showed you earlier is this one here. Maybe this is the one you're looking for, Brian, Rich Habits, with Thomas Corley. He also has a podcast. Really good stuff. Little book too, just a little one. So thank you everybody and thank you Tab for having me. Thanks Dave. Thanks for the lively discussion, everybody. If you have further questions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or send me an email. That'd be fun. Here, I'll put it in the box for you again. There's
Wonderful session, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
You're very
Really,
welcome.
really grateful to you.
Thank you.
Excellent session. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for attending today. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah, go out there and get some great connections today.